let's take a common situation that is more or less clear. I think this is one of the easiest ones. So let's say you have two people that are Catholic, that were raised Catholic, that have all their sacraments, they received their sacraments in the church, including their marriage. All the paperwork was filled out correctly. There's no possibility for an annulment. We know this was a true marriage. There's going to be no declaration that this marriage was in fact not. They separate over irreconcilable differences, and one of the spouses remarries. Let's say it's the man; he's remarried because he ran off with someone he met at work. Okay,
Yeah.
So he's remarried. What's his situation vis-a-vis the church? What kind of counsel should we give that man?
Yeah. I think it's going to depend on whether or not he has children. So the first marriage is in force. The marriage that he simulated, the marriage that he tried to engage in, this second event is not. So it's not a marriage in the eyes of the church. It might have civil, like legal implications, but it's not a marriage. And so he's in an irregular marital situation, and we would say that since the presumption is that they're living in man and wife, that is to say they have a common sexual life, they're having sexual intercourse, that he's in a state of habitual sin and known to his contemporaries as such, causing scandal, he shouldn't receive Holy Communion. I think in that situation, the church's encouragement would be to separate from this woman. And whether or not he can take life back up with his first wife, that's another conversation to be had. If they have children, then it becomes more complicated because the children do have a kind of claim on their parents' love and on their parents' presence, and in a certain sense, on their parents' relationship, because they're the fruit of their parents' love. But the church would typically counsel that those spouses remain together for the good of their children, but that they would separate in the sense of they wouldn't have a common sexual life, they wouldn't continue to have sexual intercourse, and that they would try to safeguard that commitment by not just token things, but by real things, like sleep on different floors of the house, at least sleep in different rooms, sleep in different beds, sleep in different rooms, sleep in different floors of the house. And you might say, well, if their children see that they are not sleeping in the same room, might they think that there is problems? They could potentially, but you can see that there are certain goods in tension, and it's better that they be right with God and that they could work out potentially with their pastor in some jurisdictions, like a way to attend Mass in a way that isn't scandalous, that respects the kind of forthrightness and the steadfastness of their commitment to live as brother and sister and permits them to approach for sacramental communion. But it means, effectively, giving up sexual intercourse for the rest of their life, which is not nothing.
No, and I think this is one of the things that's often in play here that is very difficult, but is the truth, is that people are not trapped. They want to often feel victimized, or they like to indulge the idea that they're trapped. In this case, in this scenario where the husband runs off with someone else, he can and does make choices. And as you suggest, the ideal choice is to leave the woman he's taken up with, who is not his wife. Ideally, in the situation you presented, there could be some way in which he would go back to his first wife. That is the hope of the church. That's not a naive thing. That's the gospel, that there could be forgiveness and that life could be shaped and transformed by that. But in a situation where he can't go back to his first wife, where he can't live with her, he is free to choose to control himself, to live chastely, and to pursue virtue such as it's possible in his current state. And I think that's the thing. In some sense, it's much ado about the fact that people just want to have sex in their lives. And it turns out, plot twist for Godsplaining listeners, one doesn't need sex to be happy. Because I know a number of people who don't have it and who are very happy. So we need to call that out for what it is and to identify the ways that people are not as free as they think they are, the way that they are enslaved, and the way that they've made choices in their lives that are just completely subservient to their passion.
Father Bonaventure, if you had to choose between getting Warby Parker glasses, subscribing to a YouTube channel, or flossing your teeth, what would you choose?
Oof. I guess, to be honest, subscribing to a YouTube channel.
See, folks, it's not as bad as flossing your teeth or getting Warby Parker glasses. Please subscribe to Godsplaining. Cheers.